So one of the interesting things that comes from uh, the new direction the DC universe is going. I don't even know if we can call it the DCEU anymore. I honestly don't think that we can call it the DCEU. I know there's the timeline of like Aquaman 2, Shazam 2, potentially Black Adam, the Suicide Squad, Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey movie, and then I believe the follow up Gotham City Sirens, and then there's also the rumored follow up of Gotham City Sirens versus Birds of Prey, or flip that. But at this point, with the success of Joker nearing $1 billion, like it's going to cross $1 billion, I don't think we're in a world right now where people are going to be able to like, or the company is going to see it financially viable to keep a lot of these movies going. And so it kind of feels like, as far as the DC universe is concerned, it's regressing backwards. It's going back to singular standalone universes, which is the dumbest thing they could do. But $1 billion on a $65 million budget, right? Like at the end of the day, Warner's is going to take home more money with Joker than Disney's going to take home with Endgame. Theatrically speaking, home video sales are going to be an entirely different situation, as well as merchandise and streaming, but it's still. So, according to the Wrap, Andy Serkis is in talks to play Alfred Pennyworth in The Batman. Both the longtime butler to the Wayne family and a trusted confidant of Bruce Wayne's, Alfred is an essential character in the canon. Agreed. Jeremy Irons did a really good job, but too bad we didn't get to see more of him. Serkis has never had a problem serving as a standout supporting actor, so there should be no worry when it comes to wondering if he'll be able to tackle the role, which of course was last played by Jeremy Irons, and before that, previously Michael Caine. But of course, for me, it's always Michael Gough, who played Alfred in Batman, Batman Returns, Batman Forever, and Batman and Robin. So right now, this is just simply a rumor that he's in talks, but everyone's reporting it that it's so. They're going to start shooting this movie in January, from what I'm hearing, or even before the end of the year. He's currently directing. What is it? Venom 2. They're shooting Venom 2 right now. So, I mean, is he going to be doing it? Probably not. But that's not the only bit of casting news we found out today. According to Collider again, they have here, this popped up right afterward. Colin Farrell is in talks to play the Penguin. Now, I'm not going to lie when I say this. I do feel that ultimately that's a better choice than, let's say, Josh Gad, who I know he wanted to play it. He was campaigning for it. But like, if you're not going to give me Philip Seymour Hoffman, and I know he's been dead for a couple of years, then I don't know. I need someone menacing. But I don't know if Colin Farrell can play the Penguin. When I think of him in a villain role, I think of, like, in comic books at least, I think of Bullseye. And it's not. It's, I'm just saying. It's the Daredevil. He played Bullseye. So Colin Farrell is currently in negotiations with Warner's to play Penguin in Matt Reeves' upcoming The Batman. If the deal goes through, Farrell will round out the cast of villains alongside Paul Dano as the Riddler and Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. Farrell is no stranger to comic book villains, having played Daredevil's arch nemesis Bullseye in 2003's Daredevil. He also played a variety of intense roles, including a broken officer in season 2 of True Detective, and of course a cagey hitman in Bruges, or in Bruges. I think I'm saying that correctly. But the guy can act. I have no doubt in my mind that Colin Farrell can't act. He can definitely act. But could he play the Penguin? Because the Penguin is going to have a very specific look and a very specific feel. And I know that there was a guy who played him on Gotham who did a pretty good job. But at the same time, still a little bit concerned. But in further potential casting news, and this one is coming out of left field. According to Cosmic Book News here, the Batman, Matthew McConaughey, rumored as Two-Face. And of course, look, we don't know where this came from. We don't know if this is true. We don't know if this is false, but this is the rumor. And on top of all the other casting, this is something fascinating. So according to rumors being spread around the web about the Batman, director Matt Reeves may be casting an Oscar-winning actor for the role of Harvey Dent. with Matthew McConaughey. Two-Face has been long rumored to be one of the multiple villains for the Batman, which is said to be in part adapting the DC Comics Long Night storyline. It's claimed that Matthew McConaughey will first appear as Harvey Dent in the Batman, and then Two-Face in subsequent sequels, which I completely agree with. And I agree with that because as much as I loved Aaron Eckhart in The Dark Knight and him becoming Two-Face, I felt like the lack of including him in The Dark Knight Rises, based upon all that buildup, was just kind of lame. Like, I understand that they wanted the Joker in The Dark Knight Rises to be the one that was like doing the judge. Instead, they got Scarecrow. Like, I get that, but I think having Two-Face be back and as a judge who flips the coin for live or die would have been a far greater scene. And then it would have been a callback to that, and I think that would have been probably more impactful. But then again, you know, out of that franchise, The Dark Knight Rises is like the worst movie. It's not. It didn't hold up over the years as well as other ones did. It's been 8 years or 7 years, but it could have been better. It could have been a lot better. Now, when you look at what Matt Reeves is apparently building for this particular movie, you can see that the DC world is really starting to kind of change shape, right? So, this is taking place apparently in the 90s. And I do think that it will ultimately tie into Justice League and Batfleck and whatever. But we're clearly going to be building out from here. And if they're smart and they like money, they'll find a way to tie Joker in as well. Some people aren't going to be okay with that. Some people would rather that not be a reality, but I'm actually one of the people that think that bringing Joker into Batman, maybe not like, it would be maybe like 20 years later, right? 25 years later, he's going to be an old ass man, but he could be one of those Jokers that's like, menacing in the beginning, but then he has an apprentice or something, and they could find a way to make it work. But if you have $1 billion movie, you want to tie it into a $1 billion, you want to segue it into potentially another $1 billion franchise, which the Batman movies have absolutely proven to be those kind of hits. With, I believe, The Dark Knight Rises and also The Dark Knight crossing the $1 billion club. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But obviously Warner's is really reshaping all this and bringing in this kind of talent into the Dark Knight or into the Batman, especially having a solid rogues gallery is going to be really big, really, really, really big for fans. This video is supported by patrons like you. If you'd like to become a patron, please head over to patreon.com/Matt Jarbo.